Hello, Mario here from Cat Percussion, and I'm here to show you just how useful the malletKAT is in a school setting or performance setting. The goal here is to show you how to get around the malletKAT. The malletKAT has built-in 127 factory kits, 127 user kits, and chains, which is a collection of user kits. There are 16 chains and 16 steps. So let's get into what that means and how it can be useful in your purpose of using the malletKAT in a school setting. The first thing that you notice when you turn on the malletKAT is that you see a letter on the top left of the screen. U means you're on a user kit. F means that you're using a factory kit, and C means you were using a chain. So how did I just change those things? The key to the malletKAT editing is that you have a foot switch plugged into the second hole in the back called Edit Foot Switch. The Edit Foot Switch allows you to get at all the functions of the malletKAT. If you stop for a second and look at the malletKAT white keys, below the white keys you see all kinds of things: poly, mono, channel, octave. And this is how, when you step on that foot switch and you tap on one of those pads, this is how you change those functions. Okay, so let's talk about what a factory kit is. And first of all, how to get there. If you step on that Edit Foot Switch and you look at the keyboard now and you look at one of those, the words underneath the white keys, check out the third F from the top and you see the word bank. As soon as you hit that pad, you see on the top it says chains have been selected. Now look at the highest C sharp and D sharp. This is how you do increment or decrement changes. If I hit the increment key or the decrement key, the instrument toggles between the three types of banks that we have: the factory, the user, and the chains. So if I hit factory setups and I let go of the foot switch, now we see an F. F means I'm in a factory kit. What is a factory kit? A factory kit is a general MIDI setup. So if you have any general MIDI synthesizers in the school and you plug it into the malletKAT via the MIDI out jack, all the sounds will just work because we've programmed it to be general MIDI. The Cat 2 that's connected to the malletKAT is also general MIDI. So that means that we have 127 factory kits, general MIDI, ready to go. But the real beauty and strength of the Cat 2 are the user kits, because we have high quality timpani and vibes and chimes, etc. in our user kits. So let's talk about how do you get there first. Same method. You step on the Edit Foot Switch, you hit the F natural. For bank, you hit the increment or decrement key till you get the word user kits and you let go. And now you see U for user kits. The way we move forward or backwards on the user kits are those forward and backward keys that are on the malletKAT. And you can just go forward and backwards and go there. Now notice, by the way, if I'm playing and I just hit that, let's say, backwards key once, nothing happens, because we want to make sure that you really want to change the kit, not that you accidentally hit that pad by mistake. But as soon as I hit either the forward or backward key twice in a row, now it lets me jump so that I can get to those kits. And this is how you get to all those kits. But you may say, hey, but there's 127 kits here. How can I get to a kit faster? There are different ways. First, let me show you the second way. The first way is those forward and backward keys. The second way is, once again, using that Edit Foot Switch. If I step on the Edit Foot Switch and I hit the pad that says Setup, which is the second C from the top, you see the word setup. And you see that word 22? Notice we're on kit number 22. Whenever you want to know what setup you're on, you just hit that setup key and you'll see it. Now, in this case, the setup on the top and on the bottom are the same, but it won't be soon. Let me show you. So if I wanted to go to kit number 100, and I step on that edit foot switch, and I hit the setup key, and I want to go to key 100, now look at the black keys. And underneath on the bottom of those black keys are numbers, going from 1 all the way up to 0. So if I play that C sharp, the third from the top, I get 1. And now if I hit this second to highest A sharp, I get 0. I do it twice, I let go, and now that's how I get to kit 100. If I want to go to the kit number 22, step on the edit foot switch, I hit setup, I hit that D sharp twice, and let go, and now I'm going to go to 22. So it's really easy to jump to kits. I want to go to 79. I can jump really fast to any kit. Another thing about the user kits to know is that I organize the kits going in groups. So you notice that kit, you're now seeing chromatic percussion, and notice that there are a lot of different vibes. The DeCiutiis 2 actually has 127 or so vibraphones in it, unlike any other sound module. I picked my favorites and I put a bunch up, like I think 10 of them or so, on the user kits. And then I jump over to xylophone and bells and chimes and timpani, lots of different timpanis as well. And then I have other kinds of bells, classic percussion. You notice that's all together in a group. Then as I keep on going, I get percussion, I get drum sets, and then after drum sets, you're going to start seeing guitars, and after guitars you'll see basses and pianos. So that's one way to listen to the sounds. I put them in groups. But now let's say you want to do a piece and you want the sounds that are on user 10, user 20, and user 30, and you want to make them next to each other. See, you don't have to do this when you want to jump to those sounds. So what I do is I first on a piece of paper, I say, what sounds do I want? Because you can put 15 or 16 of them on one chain. So let's say I want to go to 10. So again, I'll step on the edit foot switch, I'll hit setup, and I'll type in C sharp, A sharp to get to 10. Okay, I want my first sound on the chain to be a bowed vibe. Now I want to see what's on, okay, the second sound I want to be, I think it's on 20. Let's check what that is. Setup, D sharp, A sharp, I let go. Chimes, my tubular bells. And let's say I want a drum set. And I'm going to just go this way, 30, okay, 30. So I want my chain for the need in the classroom to be those vibes, to be the chimes, and to be the drums. Okay, so now let's jump over to chains. How do I get there? I step on the edit foot switch, I hit that F natural that says bank, I hit the increment and decrement to see the word chain setups, and I let go. Let's talk for a second what these numbers and letters mean on the top. C stands for chain. 0, 1 means I'm working on chain 1. There are 16 chains. Dash 04 means I'm on the 4th step in that chain, because you can put 15 or 16 different user kits in that chain. So that's what that means. Now, once again, you'll notice that as you go through the chains in the instrument, I put collections of sounds on the different chains. You can experiment with that. So, how do you change the chain? If I hit the forward key and backward key, well, it's advancing through the different steps in the chain, but it's not changing the chain itself. This is how you do that. You step on the edit foot switch, and you hit the global screen, which is the 3rd D from the top. And now you hit the increment or decrement key. This is how you jump to a chain. So you can get to all of those 16 different chains by just hitting edit foot switch, the global, and the chain. So I want to edit chain number 1. Okay, so right now, chain number 1 has lots of different things, but I only want to have 3 sounds in this chain because that's all that's needed for this piece of music that I'm going to use in the school. So, what do? Once again, I step on the edit foot switch and I hit that D natural for global. And I'm going to give you a shortcut. The shortcut jumps through to the screen exactly for changing a chain. Normally, if I hit the D natural and then hit the forward keys or backward keys, this is how you find all the functions that are global. But there are a lot of global screens and you didn't want to look at that. So, shortcut 46 takes you to the editing of your chain. Step on the edit foot switch, hit that D natural, and type in 46. That's G sharp and C sharp. And voila. Now you see the editing screens for your chain. Now you notice that the chain number 1 is blinking. How do I move the cursor around? The cursor is moved by hitting the forward key or the backwards key. The step, in this case, step number 1 is the first music setup that we want to put in that. And we know before, as we said, that we wanted to use setup number 10. So if I hit the forward key, and now it's saying the setup is 13, I want to go to 10, I hit the backwards pad, whoops, until I get to 10. If the chain is enabled, I can see what that is. If I let go, there's my 10. How can I confirm that? I step on the edit foot switch and I hit the setup. Ah, yes, I'm in 10. So now I want to get back to that chain setting screen. One of the shortcuts in the malletKAT is that it remembers the last thing that you were editing. So if I step on that edit foot switch and I hit that D natural twice, bing bing, it takes you right to that screen. So now I want step number 2 to be 20. So I'm going to hit the backwards key. So I get to step number 2 by hitting the increment key once. Now that says step number 16. I change that by hitting the forward key. And I hit the increment pad till I see 20. Now I want the third step to be 30. Hit the backwards key, hit the increment key. Oh, now I want that to be 30, so I hit the forward key and I hit the increment key till I see 30. I want to check it. I step on the foot switch, I hit the setup, and there it is, step number 30. Footnote here, if the chain is disabled and I let go, it's not necessarily going to take you to the screen that you're working on. Chains disabled and enabled is done by hitting the increment or decrement key or by hitting that bang select and taking you to a chain. That enables it. Okay? So, we're almost there. We're almost done. The key is, now I don't want step number 4 to be another sound. So I'm going to hit the backwards key. I'm going to go to step 4, but I want the step to create a loop. So if I hit the backwards key and I go past 1, I have loop. Now that means that it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 over and over again. And now we've just created our own special chain. By knowing this little bit, now you can get at every kit in the instrument. You don't need to know all the editing things. You just need to know how to get around. And that is the joy and fun of the malletKAT Pro.